Ladies and gentlemen, I've got for you yet another tier list. With the addition of Zoodiac Barrage to Master Duel, Zoodiacs basically became a small engine, so I figured why not make a tier list ranking a bunch of small engines to see which ones we should actually play. Now there are 4 criteria that I'm gonna keep in mind when ranking them: what the engine provides, how splashable it is, does it limit or restrict your place in any way, and does it use your normal summon. Now the first quote-unquote engine that I'm gonna start with is gonna be Fenrir. Now this is basically just a Fenrir, but it is used so much and I would definitely consider it being somewhat of a small engine, and I'm definitely ranking this S tier. This is basically a free level 7 body dude. It doesn't restrict you in any way, it also doesn't use your normal summon, it allows you to search out at the very least another copy of it. It is also a decent removal. Hey guys, Future Dante here, and as of the time of recording this video, the new recent ban list wasn't out yet, and with the new addition of the ban list, Fenrir got down to 1, which makes the card A tier now, since you need to play some sort of an engine or at least one copy of a brick to be able to use one of its effects. You can just search another copy of it, but it's still not a terrible card, it's a good removal. And now we're gonna move on to the Kashtiras engine. This is basically 2 to 3 Unicorn with 2 Fenrir with 0 to 1 Rice Card, 1 Theosis and 0 to 1 Big Bang. If you play a Rice Card, it basically gets you access to Shangri-La and a Rice Card, and if you don't play it, it just gets you access to any rank 7 monster. Now again, this doesn't use your normal summon, which is really nice. It also provides you with a decent interruption to work with. The only downside for this, it is basically the fact that it just restricts you into only XC summoning, so you would wanna basically special summon Unicorn, search out the Theosis, then go through your normal place and then be able to go into Theosis and XC summon. And I'm gonna put this at A tier because it isn't that splashable. It also restricts you into only XC summoning, and not a lot of decks can make use of a Rice Card, for example, because it's also a floodgate and it restricts you as well as your opponent. Now moving on to the Zoodiac engine. This is basically 3 copies Zoodiac Barrage, 1 Zoodiac Monster and a Dryden, and this gets you to either Dryden or 2 Interruptions Zeus. It also doesn't use up your normal summon, it also doesn't restrict you into anything. But I'm gonna choose to put it at A tier. I think it's actually high A tier, maybe even S tier, who knows, like maybe I'm gonna leave it at S tier. You know what, let's just leave it here. I feel like basically any deck can make good use of this, and I think that it only takes up 4 spots of your extra deck, which is the main downside of it. Also, I want to talk about another 1 card small engine, quote unquote, because I think that Assault Synchron also counts as a small engine. It is definitely not as good as Fenrir, it's also not that splashable, but I still believe it's a great engine, so I'm gonna leave it at A tier for now. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna create one more row and I'm gonna actually put it at B tier, since I believe that it's probably meant to be a little bit less good than the Theosis thing, because it's only good in synchro decks, so I feel like B tier here is fine, and I'm gonna add an extra tier so that it can be more fair in terms of ranking. And next up we've got the Invoked. Now if you've watched my channel, you know that I love playing Invoked, but I think that this is probably C or D tier. I'm gonna put it at D tier now. Maybe it can go up to C tier very rarely, but dude, I'm gonna leave it here. Nobody should play this currently, there are way better engines, and unfortunately it requires you to use your normal summon as well, which is also not very good. Then next up we've got Dogmatikas, and this is a little bit controversial to me whether to put it at C tier or D tier again. I feel like it's not a bad C tier one, because at the very least it doesn't use your normal summon, but then again it restricts you from being able to summon from the extra deck, which is actually a huge deal, so I'm gonna leave it at maybe low C or high D. Let's put it at high D, we're gonna see what will happen later on. As of the Bystials, clearly S tier. I mean, there's no point even discussing that at this point. These are just insanely good hand traps, they are also great bodies that you can make great use of. A lot of decks basically use Bystials and they have amazing success with it, so definitely S tier, nothing below that. And next up we've got the Mathmech engine. Here it really depends on where you're playing it. If you are able to fit it into a deck, I really think it's a good option, so I'm gonna put it as B tier. I don't think it's A tier, but B tier is probably fine. And next up we've got Runick. Now here, this is really hard for me to rank, since as an engine it's probably worth saying that it's about B tier, but since the fountain is at 1 and I really don't think you should be playing this, I am gonna put it at C tier here. I really don't think that this engine is very good just because the fountain is at 1, but if it was at 2 or 3, it's gonna go up there. I mean, it's definitely gonna be either B or A tier, but for now we're gonna leave it at C. Next up is Scareclaw, and there are only handful of decks that can actually make use of this engine, Manadiums and Tri-Brigade mainly, but if you're able to make a good use of this, it is actually a great engine, and it's not very splashable, but it also doesn't use your normal summon necessarily. It provides a good extender. It is also capable of searching out something like Visa Starfrost, which can result potentially into a level 10 synchro play, but I'm also a little bit biased here because I really like Scareclaw, so I'm gonna put them at low B tier just because they aren't that splashable. And next up we've got the tier engine. This basically consists at the very least of Shadian with Kid Kalos, Rukalos, and potentially Kaleido Heart, and it can also play Halfness, Scream, the Feud spell, whatever you want. It really depends on what deck you're trying to splash it in, but it's definitely a good engine to play. Also, you gotta keep in mind that Chairin allows you to fusion summon into not only tier monsters, but also other things, which is just a really nice bonus. And I wanna put this at low A tier or high B tier. For now, I'm gonna leave it at high B tier, but keep in mind that this is also a very good option as an A tier. Next up, we've got the Punks. Now, the Punks actually are interesting because they are really splashable. They're also really good, but they actually got power crept. And I gotta say that this is probably like a B tier option. I really can't say that it's A tier, and it's definitely not C tier, so I feel like somewhere in the middle of B tier is fine. And next up, we've got Sprites. Dude, if you can fit it into the deck, a definitive S tier. Literally just S tier, but because it's not as splashable, I'm gonna actually put it at very high A tier. And next up on the list is the Labrynth small engine. This is only good in trap heavy decks, basically. As a small engine, I don't think it's even deservable to be more than B tier, simply because it's not as amazing, and I would say that it's about high C tier. This is my option. I could be mistaken here a little bit, but I just feel like it's not that amazing, dude. And we've got the Tri-Brigade engine here. This is actually interesting option. Not a lot of decks can actually make use of this, which is, you know, a downside. And also the trap card going into the rank 4 isn't that amazing like it used to be, so I'm gonna put this at C tier here. I feel like it's not that amazing really, but it is still decent, you know. And we're gonna continue with Diviner of the Herald. Now, a lot of people probably don't know what that means here, but this is basically Diviner of the Herald with Trias, Hideracia, and potentially one DD Spright. Now, if you're playing it with DD Spright, it is basically a one card combo that gets you access to Borné de Fleur. What you're doing is you're normal summoning Diviner, sending the Trias, Hideracia, then activate Trias, tribute the Diviner, special summon the Trias, and also special summon the DD Spright for a level 10 synchro. Also, this small engine is really good to play, for example, in Sofa Chords, because the Cutia is a level 1 fairy monster that you can special summon off of the effect of Diviner of the Herald when it's tributed. So in some cases, this is even an enabler and a starter of your combos. But it also uses a normal summon, and it's also not very splashable, so I'm gonna put this at C tier here. However, if you're playing Diviner of the Herald with Illusion of Chaos to search out Magician Souls, it can go up to low B tier, so keep that in mind. And oh boy, we've got the Dragon Rulers. These just came out at almost full power, you know, they unlimited a whole bunch of Dragon Ruler cards. However, as a small engine, I think they are really not that amazing, and I'm gonna put them at D tier. I don't think that you should be playing Dragon Rulers, okay? Don't get me wrong, I like the archetype a lot, but it's just power crept, dude. It's not that amazing anymore. And since we're on the topic of power crept engines, we've got the Adventure engine here. Dude, this engine used to be S tier, but now it is just probably like a C tier or low B tier. The cool thing is that it is very splashable. It also doesn't use your normal summon and provides an Omni Negate, which is just not bad at all, but it is definitely not above B tier for sure. And for our second last small engine, we've got the Regulus, and this is probably just C tier. I don't think it's anything above C tier for sure. I don't want to put it at D tier, but I really don't think it's anything above C tier, so I'm gonna leave it here. And for the last small engine, we've got the Illusion of Chaos with the Magician Souls. This is basically just a draw power and potentially a level 1 body to work with. I would say that this is again C tier. It is not terrible, but it is not great as well. It provides a little bit of consistency, which is nice, but it's not that amazing. And well, that was it, guys. That was the tier list video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something, and if you don't agree with any of my choices, you can let me know in the comments below. Also, if I forgot any small engine, you can let me know in the comments below as well. And a quick message, if you want to check out a meta decks tier list, feel free to do that. Link will be down in the description. Or if you want to check out something a little bit different like a structured deck tier list, link will be in the description for that too. And if the video was enjoyable for you, feel free to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great day.